Well, hello, kindred spirits. I'm so glad that you came back to see me today. Welcome. And if you're new here, my name is Lindy, and I'm so glad that you've joined us. And I wanted to thank each and every one of you who gave this channel a chance and hit that subscribe button. I'll never stop being overwhelmed at the amount of people who have done that in such a short time, and how kind each and every one of you have been in the comments section. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. And please do, if you have anything to tell me, let me know in the comments. I want to know more about you, where you live, what you like, because I want to form a little community here. This has been wonderful, and I really appreciate you. Now, I wanted to show you today something that I think you're going to find interesting. If this doesn't appeal to you, then maybe it will soothe you to sleep, and you can just put your phone down so that the light's not shining, and maybe just listen to what's going on instead if this isn't interesting to you. But I think if you listen, you might be very interested. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start some seeds indoors. And I've got all kinds of tingly sounds going on here. I'm going to show you a few things that we're going to use in just a few minutes, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to show you some of the pictures of the beautiful flowers we're going to be growing. So first of all, we're going to be starting our seeds in these little hex pots. And I've got that here. There are 72 of these little plastic cells, and we're going to fill those with a seedling mixture. And this has 3 pieces. It has the little 72 cells. It has a holding area that we can put water down in, and then it also has a clear plastic lid that we're going to put on top of it to keep everything warm and wet until everything starts to emerge, and then we'll take the top off after that. So I'm going to set this aside here, and then I'm going to show you the seedling mix. Now, this is by a company called Sungrow. This is so important to use a really good seedling mix. You can buy it at Walmart or Lowe's too, but unless it's Sungrow, don't get it, because typically the stuff that you get at the big box stores is a cheap product, and it's not going to do as well. So to give your little seeds the very best start, you're going to want to use a better seed starting mix. So we're going to set this aside. And then next, I'm going to show you, this is a seed catalog, and this comes, it's typically after Christmas that the seed catalogs start coming every year, and I have poured through the pages of this one. You can see it is full of beautiful vegetables and herbs and flowers, and it is just wonderful to sit and look at this by the fire on a cozy winter afternoon and make plans for your garden with this. Johnny's Seeds has been around, I believe, since 1973, and they are an excellent seed company to buy your seeds from. So I definitely recommend Johnny's Seeds. And I've got seeds from a few other places too. I'm going to show you here in just a minute. But let me tell you a little bit about my garden, and then why I'm growing so many more flowers this year than I did last year. So our son is getting married in June, and his bride-to-be loves flowers. And that makes me so happy, because last year we grew a giant garden full of flowers. We had flowers from May until October last year, and we had friends and family who would come over and pick, and then we would pick bouquets and give them to people, and it was such a wonderful way to spread joy. And so this year I'm expanding that garden space, because we're going to grow some flowers for my son and his bride's wedding. Now, they won't be the main focal flowers, but we're going to be able, she can use them for anything she wants to, and we're growing them in the colors that she likes too, so that was important. So I'm going to show you the seed packets, and then I'll show you a picture of what each flower is going to look like after it germinates and after it grows and blooms. So first of all, let me show you, these are the Johnny's seed packets, and I love how they sound. That's such a nice sound. Now this is a zinnia, and it's Zinnia elegans, and this is going to take 75 to 90 days before it blooms into a flower. And so that means that I need to get it in these little pots now and let it start growing so that they will be ready by that mid-June wedding. This is a great variety of zinnias, and I love growing these. Now the second flower we're going to grow is gomphrena. This is a great little flower to grow because it's very whimsical looking. It's just a little ball, and it comes in a variety of colors. I chose a purple and a white color for her because those are the colors in her wedding. And these make an excellent dried flower afterwards too, because I dried a lot of my gompphrenas last year and used them in potpourris. Next up, we have the Benary's Giant Zinnia Mix. These are gorgeous. They get so big, they almost get to be the size of a dahlia. And what you can do to make your bloom grow bigger, and this is kind of hard to do, but you pinch off, if you've got a stalk of a zinnia and you've got little branches growing out, and then you've got a big flower up here growing out. If you pinch off those little branches growing up that stem, that top flower is going to get most of the nutrients, and it's going to cause it to grow even bigger. So that's a great tip for you if you ever want to grow zinnias like that. Now, I've not used this flower company before, but this lady has a YouTube channel, and she also has a course on flower farming. And so I'm excited to use these. The lady who owns this company, her name is Lisa, and it's the Gardener's Workshop. And you can get her flowers on her website. And I'll leave a link to her YouTube channel too if you'd like to see. She's not ASMR, she's just a lady who teaches you how to grow flowers, and if you're interested, I think you'd learn a lot from her. But anyway, I've got another Benary's Giant, but this is a lilac color, so it's also going to be in that purple. And that's the colors that my daughter-in-law to be is going to use in her wedding. So we've got a packet of those we're going to grow. And then this is one of my favorites. This is a coxcomb. It's the Latin name. Well, the Latin name is Celosia argenta cristata, and most people call it a celosia. I grew up calling it a coxcomb because it resembles the comb on a rooster's head. But when they get really big, they look like brains. They're really an amazing looking flower. They look like velvet to me. And when I see them growing out in my yard, I can't stop looking at them. I'm just amazed at the wonder of these flowers. And so this one is called Jura Salmon, and it's kind of it's a salmon color. It's a peachy pink color. This is going to be absolutely gorgeous in arrangements this year. And then the last two I want to show you are really beautiful. I can't wait to see how these turn out. These are by Floret Flower Company, and the lady Erin who owns Floret lives in Washington State, and probably about 6 maybe 8 years ago, I discovered her. And I think it was Instagram. I can't really remember how I found her. But she was growing the most gorgeous armfuls. And you can see it here. That's her in the picture. She would grow the most gorgeous flowers I had ever seen. And so now that she's been at it for a while, she is learning to breed her own flower selection and come up with colors that weren't previously available. So I bought the Victorian wedding mix of zinnias, and then I also bought Dusty Rose celosia. Now this celosia is different than the other celosia I told you about. This one does not look like the brains. This one looks more like feather plumes, sort of like what is that called? Pampas grass? Sort of looks like that, except it's colored. And it doesn't have all the grass. It's just that big feathery thing, if y'all know what I'm talking about. I'll put pictures so y'all can see better up here. But I'm really excited to see how these grow. And again, these were very expensive. These were $12 each, because it's new and there aren't that many of them, and I don't even know how many seeds are in each packet. Typically the packets will tell you how many seeds are in each one. These don't say, but that is why it's so important to use a really good potting a seedling mix, because you want to give your seedlings a fighting chance, but especially if you paid $12 a pack for them. So, but you know what? I know that sounds like a lot in the beginning, but first of all, it's going to yield beautiful blooms all year long. Secondly, I can save these seeds. So what I'll do is I will take the most beautiful flower heads that I grow from these, and I will put them in the house and dry them, and then I will save the seeds from those flowers and then grow them next year in my garden. And so I won't have to keep buying it every year, so that's a plus. And she also sent a wonderful little booklet to go along with those seeds so that we could know how to do it correctly. And she has all these beautiful pictures in here, and she gives you instructions in case you've never grown seeds indoors before. She gives you good, clear instructions so that you can do it right the first time. It's easy to do. You just have to have the right conditions, and I'll show you also my grow lights that I have to help out with this. But I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can see me planting the seeds, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we got started flower farming and all the things that we grew last year. Okay, so I have my little hexagon cells right here, and I have my growing medium. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start pouring it over the entire thing. And I'm going to ensure that some of that seedling mix gets inside of every cell, and we want to fill each one of them to the top. This is great to do if you have little kids and they want to help you. They love getting their hands in the dirt. But if you're going to do it with little ones, you might want to go outside. Now you're going to give it a little tamp. Make sure that all the dirt is settled deep inside of the little hexagons here. And I'm going to put a little bit more in some of these edge pieces that didn't get quite filled up. Now, okay, so now that we've got all of our little hexagons filled with our dirt, we're going to start planting. And I'm going to plant the Victorian wedding zinnias first. And it says planting depth 1/4 inch, germination soil temperature is 60 to 80 degrees, days to germination 3 to 5 days, full sun, and then days to maturity again is 75 to 85 days. So let's open up. Oh, there's quite a lot of them in here. So what I'm going to do first, this is real easy. You just take your fingers and go boop, 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 just like that. And you make your little holes. Just like that. Now, those are all of my seeds. And they're very, very light. And it's so amazing to me how creation works. I mean, these little fluttery looking seeds are going to become those gorgeous zinnias here in just a few months. Let me roll my sleeves up here. And you only want to put 1 seed per hole. Sometimes I'll do 2 seeds, but what happens if you put more than 1 seed per hole is they're very small, first of all, this space that they're growing in, and then they're going to have to compete for nutrients, and one is going to win out, and you don't want to overplant, so you want to just have 1 per hole here. So I'm just going along, putting my seeds into each little hole, and I won't cover them up until I have a seed in each little cell. And I'd say that there's going to be enough seeds to do this entire tray with this Victorian wedding zinnias. I just can't wait to see what they look like, because they're more muted colors, and there's varieties of yellows, salmons, lavenders, peach. They're just more of a dusky looking color instead of that bright zinnia color that you typically see. Those are my favorites. I really love the bright ones, but these may become my new favorites just because they're so different. So we're just going along, filling up each one of the little holes with a seed. Last year, a little flower farm about 4 miles down the road from here started a garden club. And so each month my daughter and I would go, and we learned how to grow flowers on a larger scale like she does. And it has been such a great experience because we've met so many wonderful people. But the best part is we've just learned so much because last year I was able to grow so many more flowers than I ever have before, just from the information that I learned from our new little garden club. And we learned ways to keep the weeds down, because weeds are always a problem, and just learned how to grow our flowers on a larger scale. And again, like I said, it's so nice because when you got flowers growing out there, first of all, you're creating beauty for the world, and you can go out there and pick a bouquet for your friends or family or somebody who's sick who needs a little pick-me-up, and you just spread so much joy when you give somebody a bouquet of homegrown flowers. It is quite wonderful to see. And also, it's such a stress reducer to go out there in your garden and weed for a little while, get that good sunshine on your back, and just listen to the birds, and just go out there and enjoy nature and enjoy your time out there. And if you walk out there barefoot, it's even better. There are just so many good things about having a garden. And I'm coming down. I only have just a few more, so I can see I'm going to have a row here without these, so I'll have to fill that with something else. And I think I'll keep them, all of the floret though, because I want to, since this is my trial with these, I want to make sure that they're all in the same containers if possible. So I'm going to put the Dusty Rose celosia down here in this last row, and open this up here. This is the same, well, no, it's actually not. Let's see. Okay, the zinnias are going to come faster. So the zinnias are 75 to 85 days to maturity, and the celosia is 90 to 100 days until maturity. So they're going to take a little bit longer, so I'm glad that we're getting these ready now. Oh, wow, okay. Now look at the difference. I'm going to show y'all the difference in these seeds. I'm not going to pour all of these out because they're so tiny and I only need a few to finish up this row. But look at the difference. I mean, those look like poppy seeds. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 is what I need. And I'm going to try. Goodness, I need some tweezers, don't I? I've got that up underneath my fingernail there. You probably can't even see it. And I'm going to pop it in that little, my goodness. So we're going to go one at a time, back and forth, back and forth. And get those little seeds down inside that dirt. And if you accidentally put too many, 1 or 2 seeds in the hole, it's not a big deal. You can always thin it out later, but you want to try not to do that because you don't want to, again, you don't want to waste your seed. And secondly, they will fight to be the strongest, and then you'll have to pinch one off, and you hate to do that. So it's best just to be real careful and get just one at a time down in there. So now I'm going to put, I have about 8 left. So I'm going to put those back in that package and just seal that up until I can do my next row. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly cover each little hole with the dirt here that's left. I'm going to do that to each one of them here. This soil or this seedling mix is very light. It has vermiculite in it, which lightens the soil, and it makes it easier for that tiny little seed to burst through. I'm just gonna go through. I don't know if y'all can hear that breathing sound, or if you heard her walking around earlier, but that's my little dog, Fancy. She's an old lady. She is 107 in dog years. She's 15. She's a Bichon Frise. She's been the best little dog. We got her when the kids were little, and she's a kind of a foo-foo dog, but she doesn't act like it. She runs around outside, and she can tree a coon, and she can she can wrangle chickens. She's a country dog. She's been a good one. But anyway, she runs around here all the time, and you can hear little toenails on the wood floor sometimes. So if you hear that or you hear snoring, then that's Fancy. Okay, so now we have all of our seedlings covered. So what we're going to do next is we're going to move that aside and get our bottom tray. And I'm going to go get some water and put it in here. Okay, so what you do is you get some water, and every day you have to check these, but when you first start, you're going to fill this tray about halfway to a quarter of the way full of water. Okay, and now I'm going to set my seeds on top just like that, and what's going to happen is that water that's inside of this tray is going to be wicked up from underneath, and it's going to make all of these little hexagons damp, and then that's going to help our seeds start growing. And then what you do next is you put your little dome on top, and then that helps everything stay damp until the seedlings emerge. And then once again, you have to come every day and lift up a corner and pour water down in that bottom tray. Once your seedlings start emerging and they're about an inch high, then you can take the top off. So now that I have all of my little seeds in my seed starting mix, I'm going to take this down to the basement where I have a rack, and it has lights on it, and then it also has heating mats, and so that will ensure that my little seeds stay good and warm, and the growing conditions are just right for them to start sprouting up. These take about 5 to 7 days to germinate, and so that means they will the little life will begin inside of that little seed, and it'll bust out, and then it'll start coming up out of that dirt, and I'll see some little green saplings coming out, and then I'll know that they're working, and then that gets really exciting to see that. And then again, after that first frost, that last frost date has passed, which again is typically around 10th of April, something like that around here. I'm in zone 7A, I believe. I'm in the Piedmont of North Carolina, and so you have to wait until that frost passes, because you don't want to put these outside too early because they will die. They are not cold tolerant at all. You want them in a warm space before you put them outside. But in just, a matter of a month, I will have beautiful blooms. So I'm really excited about it. And I'm so glad that you came along with me so that you could see how this was done. Now, let me show you something else right quick before we go. I wanted to show you these daffodils. I think that these are so beautiful. My daughter went out and picked this arrangement yesterday. We have some daffodils growing, and then we have some tulips that are just getting ready to bud out. And then we also have some dahlias outside that are getting ready to bloom up too. They're a little bit more of a warmer weather flower, and so it's going to be a little bit longer for those, but I'm so excited about them. But thank y'all again for coming along with me and seeing this process done. I appreciate you all so much, and always remember that everybody is somebody, because God does not make junk, and that means you, my friend. You take good care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next video.